What's up? All right, guys. We've been running long ever since I was like, okay, we're going to be doing 30-minute episodes. It's like they've been consistently over an hour. I don't know. This is why name it and claim it doesn't work. The Lord's will be done. You know, you can say what it's about to be all you want, but if the Lord was like, y'all don't talk about me and encourage one another and have a good old Christian time together, you know, then that's what it's gonna be. Hey, Allison. So all we need really is Allison and Ben for the special announcement. Let me I just got further. So we just need Ben, Allison. Hello. In the meantime, I'll do my introduction. I am 3+Kei. I'm here to encourage you to do nothing else. Okay? But prioritize the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And this space right here is called the Secret Heart Club. And we have a jingle. Okay? We have a special jingle today. All right? This is for all the members, old and new. Wink, wink. Welcome to the Secret Heart Club, everyone. Does a part to bring love, be loved. Hey, we love Jesus at the Secret Heart Club. Okay. Let me just read this right quick. Oh, all right. You guys ready? You know, we have, I got chills. I got chills saying it. We have a new member to the Secret Heart Club. Our Secret Heart girl was born under emergency C-section. If you guys were here on, I think it was Saturday night, Poppy was in the hospital with like high blood pressure and something was wrong with her heart. So they went ahead and they popped Poppy. Okay. And she said you can imagine she's not feeling maybe A-okay right now, but she'll get there, and they hope both of them will leave soon, and I'll leave the rest. I'll ask Poppy if I can share additional details. But what you need to know is we do have our Secret Heart girl. I am looking at her. This baby looks robust. Okay. All right. This baby's sleeping. This baby has like all the color. This baby looks healthy. Hey, you know, this baby looks like she doesn't have a care in the world. It's time to sleep. That's what that baby's doing. And so I just wanted to report that. We got it. For those of you guys who are listening, there is a link. Poppy was supposed to give birth in a month. She had an emergency C-section. If you're listening, if you guys will continue to help me remind people to just visit the link that's attached to this video, or I don't know what you call it, pinned comment. Go look, check out Poppy's registry. It's very commonsensical items. It's nothing like crazy, and there's only like 8 items. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because she was in the hospital like she was. And actually, when she came on here on Saturday, and she had already, I think, because we were taught, I think that was like her third day. And so she was hospitalized. She wasn't just like in the hospital. So, all right. Well, we got that together. This is exciting. This is super exciting. And you guys can go ahead and pray for the baby. Go ahead, pray for that baby. All right. Just wanted to tell you guys a couple things. I played Ding Dong Ditch today. I played. If you guys, I want you to know something, okay? Sometimes you might think to yourself, I'm too old for this. And that's a lie. It's a lie that you're too old for it. You can go ahead and do whatever you wanted to do. And today, the thought occurred to me to go ahead and play Ding Dong Ditch on my neighbors. Okay. I bought, don't judge me, but I bought a 4-pack of cheese Danishes. And I said, well, you know, my neighbors have is he 3 now? He's 2 or 3. However that little boy is, every time I see him, he will remind me how old he is. So I can't believe I forgot. I don't even know his name, but I know how old he is. But anyway, it's mom, dad, and the little boy. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do is get this 4-pack of Danishes, eat one of those Danishes on my way to their house, and then I'm going to put it there, and then I'm going to knock on the door and run away. Right? I was like, yeah. And then I even wrote a note, and I was like, if I'm going to be fat, we're going to be fat together. Your neighbor, Lakeitha. Well, I did go over there munching on my cheese Danish, and I did put it on their porch. And then I got, you know how you kind of like get ready? I kind of like, you know, got ready. And then I knocked on the door, and then I ran up the stairs, fell, lost my Danish. And then I was like, and it was out of breath, the short distance I had to run back to my house. What I want you guys to know is, like, sometimes you need to let reason prevail. And sometimes when you're like, oh, I'm a little too old for this activity, that's like the Lord telling you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the Lord like, you should sit this. That was you 20 years ago. That was you 20 years ago. So I lost my Danish, chipped my toenail, lost a flip-flop in the process, and was out of breath messing around playing Ding Dong Ditch. I just wanted to tell you guys that if ever you think, oh my gosh, 3+Kei is so cool. She's so cool. Like, she's so confident. She really has it. She really has it together. Just remember that this happened today. So ridiculous. I don't know why. Maybe this is why I don't have friends. This could be it. All right, guys. I was looking at 2 Corinthians chapter 1. I actually didn't see what the exact, I got the gist of what the exact promise is. Yeah, God comforts us. And it's something, the scriptures actually, I talk about it from time to time, because it's one of those things, the way the Lord gives us comfort, and specifically the way the Lord gives us like our trials and tribulations, and you're like, oh my gosh, why did this happen? Or even, you know, we hear things to the effect of like, bad things happen to good people. And I can speak from personal experience. I have been minding my own business in these streets, and people come messing with me or like sabotaging me or like whatever. See ya, Allison. And it's like, dang, why, Lord? Like, and it can be hard to wrap your mind around, but for if we study our word and we talk to the Lord, and I'll throw this in here, the importance of having friends that are on their faith walk, not just Christian friends, because you can have healthy friends that want to go out eat at different restaurants, and it's like, well, you're not on your fitness journey, right? So if you want fit friends, if you want to be fit, like fit, you need to have friends and people around you that are also on their fitness journey because they understand like where you're coming from, right? Same thing with being a Christian and walking out your faith and going along your faith walk. It's important that you are in community with people that are also on their faith walk. And I might even attach that to something that is like a little controversial. I've been trying to flesh out. This is not the time for this conversation. But specifically, I want to repeat that again. If you are on your faith walk, you need to be around other Poppy. I just made the announcement about our newest member. If I knew you were going to be here, I would have just had you say it. So sorry, Poppy. Congratulations. Yeah, I changed it to 7 p.m. because I was petering out very, very quickly at 8. And sometimes I was noticing, like, as time went on, I was not even wanting to do the live because by 8 o'clock, I was over it. I was starting to get over it. I want to go to bed at 9. I would like to be going to bed at 9 and not wrapping things up and like, I don't want none of that. So 7 p.m. it is. And then if it goes a little past 8, like fine. That's okay. And then for people like Allison is not in this what do you call it? Not zip code. Help me out. Not zip code. Not in this time zone. So she was, it was like, if it was 8 to 9 here, it was 9 to 10. And so I think it's just a better look overall to have it at 7. And in that way we can kind of move along. Poppy says, no, it's okay. She's still in the NICU. So I'm going always in and out right now. And then Ben says, congratulations, Poppy. Yeah, the birth of our secret heart baby really makes me even more want to have some kind of like for like a separate space, maybe for like, and I don't know what that looks like or what exactly I'm thinking of, but like kind of like the OG people, just like like it's like, even if it's like a separate chat or something like that. I don't know. I have to think about it. But your birth made me like really want to be like, oh, we should have something like that. With like the relationships that are developing, you know what I mean? But Poppy, I was talking about, we're in 2 Corinthians 1, And it's a focus. 2 Corinthians 1 is obviously written by Paul. It's a focus on suffering that happens and the comfort that the Lord provides with it. You would have thought, oh, I do have it right here. God's promise, part 29, is that God will give us comfort. The scripture accompanied is 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3-4. And it reads, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God." And so, what does all that mean? Simply put, we go through hard times. And fair or not of why it happened, one thing is that the Lord will provide us comfort in those times to kind of help alleviate some of that pain, so that then when we see somebody else with that same affliction, we can then comfort them with the comfort. We're comforting them with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. We then become, when we go through our trials and tribulations and are comforted by God, part of the purpose of having gone through that is so that we can, somebody else that's going through that same issue, we can then be a vessel of comfort to them. How the Lord comforted us, we can, through our trials and tribulations, we can then comfort somebody else with that same trial and tribulation. And that might be a little hard for those of us that are like going through a major trial and tribulation. It's like, why? You want to know, why is this happening? You may never know. But it can go a little easier for you. The Lord will provide a window of comfort for you, a pillow of comfort for you to land in, to help ease that pain and ease that suffering. Lord Poppy says, "Thanks, Ben. Keep my baby in your prayers. She may graduate from the NICU and get off oxygen." Yeah. Did I ask? Oh, you said 7 pounds. Where is it? Yeah, just under 7 pounds. She looks healthy. She looks healthy. She has good color, like she's not pale and, and the entirety of 2 Corinthians chapter 1 just kind of goes in that vein. It talks about suffering and the alleviating of pain that the Lord provides. Lord Poppy says she was born about 6 days before 37 weeks. So she's a late preterm. Yeah, because hold up. Chloe was 6.8, 2 months. Oh, I didn't know that. Chloe's daughter, Ben's daughter, saved me from doing some math. I was about to try to do some math, and it just wasn't. it wasn't going to happen for me. You know who came back today were those Mormon guys. You know what it made me think of is like, so they came back, they texted me, which is perfectly fine. Because I asked them to. And then they knocked on the door, but I was in a meeting and I was like, no, I work from home, so you can't like knock on my door. You know what I mean? And anyway, I was thinking about the Mormons and how they do the door to door, and then the Jehovah's Witnesses go door to door. And I was thinking like the very short, they were here for maybe like 3 minutes or so. What was it, on Sunday? And they pointed out scripture. They gave me the Book of Mormon. They gave me a Bible. They were there to kind of like answer all my questions or whatever. And the feedback from the chat, because all of this happened on the live stream, the feedback from the chat was like very negative toward them. But anyway, when they came back again today, I was thinking to myself, oh, I didn't read like the passage of what they showed me, something about the Nehemites or something. And you know, I'm going to have to do kind of like my own research and this type of thing. But they're knocking on doors to disciple people in real time is what occurred to me. And it reminded me of what I said when Casey asked me what would I do if I was president. And I was like, well, I would have like total, like, you're free to practice your religion however you want, because 2/3 of the United States are Protestant. So, you know, we would just have to go about creating disciples. And so anyway, with the Mormon boys and like the Jehovah's Witnesses, I was like, these organizations have already almost like perfected the craft of like creating disciples. Like, I will always, and I know there's differing beliefs on this, but like I would talk to a Muslim about their beliefs, and I hold the position of if there is a truth that I do not know, I would like to know. I would like to know what it is. Like, I'm not hanging on to Christ out of like an ignorance or out of like a desperation, or like, I do believe with conviction that there's one God. Within the Trinity. Like, I really believe that. And explaining that and fleshing it out is a story for like a different time. But let's say they have a thing about the Nehemites or whatever that I don't know, and this is the truth. I would want to know it, right? Like, I would never shut off a potential truth, right? At the same time, they are trained to talk about their faith. They're trained, and they do this as a church. Like, they do this as like, okay, I mean, I'm just making this up, but like, okay, you're 16 years old now. now you're going to go into this training. And then the Jehovah's Witnesses like go through that kind of same thing as well. And I was thinking like Christians don't really like do that. There's like evangelists who kind of like strike out on their own a little bit, or I know, right? Like I'm interested in evangelism. I have to go seek that information out, right? Like it's not a church creating that. And so in that regard, for whatever it is that is Mormon or Jehovah's Witness, they train and send out people to disciple other people. And I think there's a very strong kind of lesson in that. Another thing I've heard, I've never been to a Church of Latter-day Saints, but I've heard from multiple sources, all of them within the church, that the Church of Latter-day Saints are like outdo other religions in hospitality. Like they're just very friendly, very like accommodating, invite you into their homes and this kind of thing. And I don't know why I'm saying all of this. You know, and I'm thinking of questions to ask the Mormon boys when I do the interview, such as the Mormon church is historically homogenous with white people. Why, right? Like, why is that? Because Christians are like, we're a diverse group. Like, why is that? Without judgment, maybe there's, you know, and then like, also, these three boys that came to my door, how do you feel specifically belonging to an organization that was probably in the 90th percentile of like of one racial makeup? Like, what do you, not how do you feel about it, but like, what do you think about that? How do you conceptualize that as being part of God's design or what have you? And why is it that people of color are not in your organization? You know, are they welcome? Are they like, what is the history? So that's one question I have for them. Sorry, I went through all this. I went on a tangent about the Latter-day Saints. Pappy says she was born about 6 days before 37 weeks. So she is a late preterm. Oh yeah, that's when I started to do math. I think like I got insecure about not being able to do math and started talking. I'm a human. Started talking about something else. Pivoted. Ben says Chloe, his daughter, was 6.8, 2 months premature. Pappy says she was a month premature. Glad to know Chloe was okay because I get anxiety. Ben says her stomach never fully developed. We had to take her to a chiropractor to fix it. Pappy said she's okay now though. And Ben said, yeah, she is a warrior princess like Xena. Pappy says, fun fact, Jehovah's Witnesses aren't allowed at my parents' house because my dad let them into his home and compared Bibles. And the head of the church was like, no. So they have to skip his house. I wonder, and so I don't mean to be suspicious, but I think discernment kind of, so if you guys were here on Sunday or on Saturday night, you know the story, like my friend's 12-year-old and his best friend came into my bedroom when we were out of town. And the culmination of it was they asked me to pray, if we could all pray together. And it all kind of started because the best friend was like, oh, I'm looking for a Bible. And I gave him my fancy schmancy Bible. So then I didn't have a Bible. And I was explaining that on the live stream when the Mormon boys came to my door and they were on the live stream. And so they came back and gave me a Bible, which if this Bible has not been altered or like doctored, I think is very, very sweet. But discernment tells me to research what it is. Is the Mormon Bible the same, or have things been added or taken out before I add it to my group of Bibles? So with that said, I have gone back to using, I didn't know I still had it, the very first Bible I was reading, like before I was even saved. It's a long story. I was like reading the Bible for like 6 months before I was actually saved. But I actually still had that Bible. So I'm reading, that's my Bible right now. So this Bible's almost a moot point, but I've got to find out for my own kind of like wanting to know if there's trickery involved or not. If this Bible is the same as the other Bibles that I have, or if it's been doctored and given to me as a gift. That's like, hey, here's this, wink, wink. Which also I would probably ask them about in the interview too. So stay tuned. I'll let you know if this Bible is actually, if this Bible is actually a Bible. What else did I want to tell you guys today? I don't think I'm like other people. I don't think I'm like other people. I decided today, I was like, I got off my 9-to-5 job and I was like, I'm just going to kind of relax today. Every day I wear a PursueTheSmile shirt. I call it my my uniform, just so like I'm prepared. It just puts me in the mindset of like always like being PTS oriented. And I was like, I'm gonna take the shirt off, I put a little tank top on. And I was like, what would I do if like I wasn't doing anything? And so I was like, oh, I'll go for a hike and call my friend. And then she didn't pick up. And I was like, oh, I'll live stream. And I was like, no, that's work. And so I just kind of thought, I saw my my frame, what do you call it? My silhouette. No, not my silhouette, my shadow in front of me while I was walking. And I really liked, I have my walk, I don't have a feminine walk at all. I don't know what that's about. I don't walk femininely. I walk like a bowler. You know how bowlers like boom, boom, boom with their bowl? I kind of walk like that. Like, I don't even know if you could say I walk like a dude. I just, I would say I like, kind of walk with some amount of authority. But anyway, I was kind of looking at my shadow in front of me, and like by appearance, I am fat. And I think I really do. I think it's so cool that I'm like stupid strong. I just think that's the coolest thing in the world. And that my shadow and the way that I walk, like my shadow is just kind of big. And then like the way I just kind of like charge when I walk, I don't know how to describe it, and it is, I used to be insecure about it actually when I first got saved and I was around all these like dainty freaking females. I got kind of insecure about the way my femininity presents because I was around these like, I don't want to say weak women, but like just softer. And the Lord just didn't make me like, it's not even that I'm loud. It's just like bold and intentional. And I've been that way since, from what I can recall, since I was like 3 or 4 years old. I've just always been this. Anyway, I dig it. I dig it that I'm strong. I really like the fact somebody commented on my biceps the other day, and it's the fact that, like, and when I say I'm fat, I'm just stating a fact. I'm not talking down on myself. I actually don't believe in doing that. I am just fat, but the amount of muscle on me is like, it's so much that it protrudes through the fat. So like I have biceps, even though like I have large arms, I have a lot of muscle packed on here. And somebody was like commenting like, oh my gosh, like your arms are crazy. And it's like, yeah. And we all have like these things about us that are so cool. Is there a way to fix it? I'm going to bring this back just to the comfort that the Lord brings us. What I'm trying to say is, like, when I entered the church, there was a lot I was like very insecure about. And like my femininity was one such thing. And I remember, shout out to Johnny P. I had started dating a guy in Atlanta. And he was the first guy I had started dating just like as a Christian, who didn't know me as like a new Christian, or you know what I mean? And I remember it was our first date. We'd been talking on the phone for a while, but then it was like our first date. And we went to a park in Atlanta. We were just kind of walking around and eating ice cream and whatever. And I remember trying to, I remember I was trying on the femininity that I saw in the women at my church, which was like this like docile type. And I forgot what I said. Maybe he asked me a question and I like deferred to him, or we were like going to do something and he deferred. And I'll never forget. And that's why I was like, okay, I see. Thanks, God. Thanks for like putting that in my face. But he said, like, I don't like that. I don't want, I don't want a woman. Like, I want a strong woman. And he was a Christian. He was like, I don't want like what that was that you just did. The like, oh, I don't know. Like, he was like, don't do that. I don't like that. And so then it occurred to me, oh, there's a different type of man that knows how to handle a strong woman. And then since then, I've dated really well Christian men who have their own level of strength. And one of them, Mark, was a worship leader at his church, spoke 4 different languages, like a true intellectual. He was a political refugee from Haiti. They were going to kill him because he was speaking. Well, they tried to kill him. They tried to kill him so bad that the American government was like, you can just come over here. You know what I mean? And his level of masculinity was like, I remember he didn't have a car yet. And I hadn't, we had gone on like a few dates and we were talking all the time and blah, blah, blah. And he had started making excuses for like why we couldn't go on dates. And I asked his cousin, who I saw all the time, I was like, does Mark have like another girl, or like, you know, what's up with that? And he said, no. He said, Mark really likes you, but in our culture, women don't drive men. Like, he feels like you shouldn't be driving him around. And I was like, oh. And so the type of man then, like Mark is like, he went and bought a car. And then we went on dates, right? Or like one of our dates, we went to a bubble run, like a 5K, and I'll never forget it because I've never really like felt that before. But we were going through the parking lot, and this was when it was my car. We were going through the parking lot, and I can walk myself. I am a whole capable woman who can get through a parking lot by myself. Thank you. And we entered the parking lot, and he just kind of like grabbed my hand with authority and walked me to the car. And I was like, oh, and I even remember thinking, like, while we were walking to my car, I'm not concerned about where cars are or anything, because this man took authority over me and said, first of all, this is what we're doing, and I'm doing it in a manner that you don't have to worry about anything else. So I say all that to say that a masculine man quite possibly finds a strong woman as an asset, not as like, I think if this is so controversial, I'm gonna just say it though. Whenever I see a man with like a weaker woman, like she's almost like hiding behind him, I think that is a very, very weak and insecure man and an incapable man. And I'll say this, if you're managing people, if you've ever been in a management position, you need to be able to manage all sorts of personalities and blah, 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 blah. Sometimes somebody will think they can be a manager, like they think they have the skills, but they really don't. And people will disrespect them and walk all over them. Right. So the reason why I got on this was like, we're talking about God's comfort and my like thorough insecurity and like identity crisis in the way that my femininity shows up. And how even in the church, like the attempt towards sculpting what femininity should be, you know what I mean? But the Lord has just given me indication over indication over indication through the years in the form of masculine men that are capable of taking authority over me. You think I'm just letting somebody? Think about it. You think I'm just letting somebody? I have to trust you. I have to like, but that's a thing you have in yourself as a man. Does that make sense? And now I don't care. I'm going to have big muscles. I'm going to walk the way I walk, whatever. And I don't have any like hang-ups anymore about how my femininity shows up, because at the end of the day, I'm a chick. And like, that's what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? You know, God has been I just think about the ways I have been kind of comforted. And I'll tell you this one thing. You guys know, and I've said it, and I hate to like, because I don't want to, there's a lot I could say about my biological parents. My dad is dead, so I won't ever really get too much into it. On my mom's side, I will tell you that I went into the foster care at 16. And 16 is a very late age to go into the foster care system. So clearly there was, a lot of damage that has occurred early on in my life. And something I tell my own kids, who came to me through the foster care system, what I tell them is, don't let your trauma be for nothing. Don't all that this, what they did, he did, she did, it did, what happened to you, don't let your trauma be for nothing. And so that's their own thing to flesh out. How that's fleshed out in my life is I'm a social worker. I work in all sorts of social services with children with emotional disturbances, have experienced all types of abuse. And I do it, I always say, because people love to tell you what a great person you are, or how fantastic it is that I took in 2 teenagers. And it's like, you're saying that because you have like an idea of it, right? Which most people do. But I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't like kids more than anybody else, right? I get aggravated. I'm like, why would you do that though? You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel any type of like some people really love like preschool teachers, they really love kids, or like teachers in general. They love kids so much that they went and got a whole degree or multiple degrees behind it. Me, I have my degrees, but they're not necessarily like children focused. They're more like social services focused. So I could be working with adults, or which I did for a little bit. I worked in addictions for a little bit. I worked with like adults with disabilities for a little bit, and I keep landing back on the children's, the traumatized kids, because I've been there. I know what it's like. I know what it's like for your parents to hate you. I know what that's about to look like for you as you get older. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the social worker that's going to be like, yeah, your parents suck. They botched it. They got you, and you do this is what's special and unique and all that. And your parents didn't see that, and they abused you, and they suck. So whatever's happening with them, they deserve it. I'm the social worker that says that. I don't have therapeutic language for you. Some people are terrible. Anyway, I feel the Lord gave me specifically the afflictions. And you can see it sometimes on my body when I'm shorter. I have scars all over my body. It's been like a tragic life, guys. It hasn't been like, but I really do believe I was given the affliction of child abuse, so that, because the Lord knew he was going to save me, so that I could work with these kids and be the vessel of comfort. I really believe that. And even if I didn't, the word tells me so. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 and 4 read, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with that same comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God." Amen. So whoever's watching this right now and you're like, dang, this thing happened and that thing happened, and this has been so tragic in my life, you can help somebody else. I remember once a year I kind of go a little bit nutty, because the person I love the most and loved me the most. They passed away over a decade ago, and once or twice a year, I kind of, and so anyway, a while ago, I went to Atlanta, got an Airbnb. And at that particular time, I was living with this family, and like the quote unquote friend that ended up being a frenemy, she had never lost anybody in her life, and she didn't understand and felt the need to fix her lips to be like, it's been over a decade. Like, you know what I mean? And so anyway, it made me think, because I was so insecure at that time in my life. I was like, man, like, yeah, I mean, it has been over a decade. Like, why does it feel like it was yesterday? And what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me that I'm still mourning like the very person? The only way this is the truth. The only way I can conceptualize how the Lord loves me is because I take how she loved me, and God loves me more than that. That's the only way I even conceptualize God's love, to give you an idea of like how much this person loved me, And so, yes, I was mourning after anyway. So I checked into an Airbnb, and it was weird. It was like a lady's house, and she had a bedroom downstairs and then like 3 or 4 bedrooms. And it was like Marilyn Monroe themed or whatever, which was kind of cool. But I went out into the backyard that day because I was sneaking cigarettes. Nobody knew that I was smoking cigarettes. And I was like, well, I'm at an Airbnb in Atlanta. Nobody knows me. So I was talking to this lady, and I was like, yeah, I'm here for this reason. Like, this is the birth date of this person I love so much, and she loved me, and blah, blah, blah. And this is what my friend said, that like I should be over it, or blah, blah, blah. And the lady was telling me, she's like, that's not, I remember how she was like looking at him. She's like, that's not true at all. And as it would turn out, her fiance had died in a car accident, like however long ago, a decade ago or whatever. And she never dated again. And she was like, you never like when you find your person. For me, it was like a lady, I called her my auntie. When I first moved here to Montana, she was like, why are you so skinny? Like, why do you look like that? I was like 100 pounds when I went, and I was losing weight. There's nothing to eat here. Coming from like Chicago to Montana, if you know, there's like, there was like nothing to eat. So I was eating like sandwiches, you know what I mean? And she was like, why do you like look like that? I was like, I can't find any food. And she was like, come to my house. I'm going to cook for you. She's like a little Italian lady with green eyes. And then just after time, I mean, I was always over there. I mean, you know how that goes. But anyway, she, and so that lady was telling me, yeah, when you find your person, and the way I conceptualize it is like many people don't have a person in their life. They'll never have, quote unquote, a person in their lives. Many people, right? And then nobody ever will get 2 people in their lives. There's no such thing as you get 2 people in your life. And for those of us that the Lord blesses for whatever reason, we get a person. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you've had that experience or are experiencing it. And if you don't, and you're like, no, you could have 2 or 3 or 4, you don't, you haven't been given a person. You know what I mean? It's like, if you know, you know. But anyway, my person died. And her person died, and she was able to communicate to me that it's okay to mourn forever. If that's, I mean, like, it makes sense that you would mourn forever. And so anyway, my friend, her mom passed away from cancer. This was several years ago. Her mom passed away from cancer, and it was her mom's choice. Her mom, at the end of the road, was just like, I don't, like, I've raised my kids, I see my grandkids, everyone's healthy and doing well. Like, there's not really a need for me to, like, keep going. And so for my friend, her mom was her person. And then her mom passed away. And I remember my friend saying, like, a year later, she was like, I just feel like I should be, like, over it, or it should feel better. And I was like, bro, like, I'm like over 10 years in from my person dying. And it's like, I just stopped, like how I'm talking to you right now and communicating, me not sobbing, me being able to, like, talk without crying. We're talking the last, like, 3 or 4 years. This has happened. So, like, a year in, it's not even reasonable to think you wouldn't be, that you would be mourning less. And I talk to her now, still mourning. It's like 6 years later or whatever, still heavy mourning. It's like, yeah, and then maybe in her life, she's a therapist actually, somebody's going to pass away and they're going to be like, it's been 3 years, I should move on. I actually do. I have another friend, her fiance got hit by a car and died. And that was like 6 or 7 years ago. And she was saying last year, like, people say I should start dating or whatever. And it's like, that's your whole, that's like, I know I'm just using the word person, but, like, it's like, if it's like the other you. You can't split yourself in two. You can't split yourself in two and walk away. And that's what it's kind of like, is like half of you died and you don't get it again. Like, it's like the worst thing. But even then, so that we may, God will comfort us in all our afflictions, may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. So whatever I know I just shared my thing, and I appreciate the Lord protecting me in these comments. Nobody's saying anything nutty while I'm being vulnerable, but everybody has afflictions. And I want to encourage you toward this verse, 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. I want to encourage you toward that verse as far as making sense of the purpose behind your affliction, whatever that might be. Hey, Scott. Scott says, Jesus is king. Well, I did it again. I said I was only creating a 30-minute video, and I created an hour-long video. Womp, womp. I do want to, usually I pray us out, but, like, yesterday I really wanted to say Psalm 23. So let me get back. But I was, like, in a parking lot. Well, my phone's not working for some reason. There we go. Do you guys have the Bible app? I think that would be kind of fun if we did like a Bible thing on the. Here, let me show you. Oh, wait. Can you see? Oh, you can't see. Dang it. Bible app? Can you see? Okay. Well, let's do Bible. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. A psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Let's just right quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, 3, and 4. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. Psalm 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they, what? Comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely, back to this affliction thing, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. All right. Prayers up for Poppy's baby. That baby's in the NICU. And you guys watching this, there's a the pinned comment is purchase Prego Poppy popping prior to her present popping. Anyway, the baby was born through emergency C-section, and the baby is in NICU. So if you guys wouldn't mind, at least follow the link to her registry. The stuff that she's at, there's only like 6 or 8 items on there, and there's very, very reasonable things like baby blankets. You know how sometimes you get this is why I don't actually do registries. People will be asking for like, I need a marble changing table. It's like, girl, what? You better go to good. I ain't even, you know what I mean? The stuff on Poppy's registry is like, oh, yeah, you need that. You should get, and I think the most expensive thing is like $35, and it's like a 6-pack of like baby blankets or whatever, right? Like super, she was very sensible about it. So anyway, please follow the link. I'm going to wait about 10 seconds before I log off today so you guys can click that video and follow the link and just look at it. Just look at the stuff, okay? Just look at it. And if you can, there might be like an option for gift cards or something. Just please help Poppy out. That baby, she's stressed enough. She's still in the hospital too. And the baby's in NICU and on oxygen. Okay? All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're here every night, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Tomorrow it's like a women's group with lemonade and hot dogs. So I'll probably be walking back from that, and that'll look sloppy per usual. I don't know. We're a community, guys. Like, you know how it goes. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.